I didn't grow up not believing in God. I always knew about Him. But the first time I really remember seeking God for myself, not because someone told me to, not because it was expected, was when I was about 12 years old. My mom was going into major brain surgery. I didn't fully understand everything that was happening, but I understood enough to feel afraid. There was uncertainty, there was heaviness, and there were a lot of questions that I didn't know how to ask out loud. Up until then, faith had been something I had mostly shared with my family. Church, Bible stories, prayer before meals, it was all familiar. But in that moment, I realized that I couldn't lean on their faith anymore. I needed my own. So I started going to God on my own, mostly because I was scared. I prayed because I didn't know what else to do. And honestly, for a long time after that, that's how my relationship with God worked. I sought Him when things were hard, when I was overwhelmed, when I needed answers. And then, once things felt okay again, I kind of backed away. For a long time, I thought that was just normal for me. As I got older, I had this idea in my head that being a good Christian meant doing all of the good and right things. Reading my Bible, going to church, trying not to mess up too badly. I didn't really understand prayer beyond talking at God. And I definitely didn't understand what it meant to listen. At the same time, I was watching my little sister grow in her relationship with God. She talked about hearing Him, trusting Him, feeling close to Him. And instead of being inspired, I felt frustrated. I was doing the things that I thought I was supposed to do, but nothing felt different. I was reading scripture, but it wasn't changing me. I felt stuck. And instead of asking questions or learning how to go deeper, I kind of shut down. I convinced myself that maybe this is just how faith was supposed to feel like for me. So I developed this pattern. I'd pull away from God when I felt frustrated or confused. I'd try to figure it out on my own, and then I'd come back, but only when things got really bad again. And looking back, I realized that I wasn't refusing God. I was refusing vulnerability. Recently, I found myself at another turning point. I had to make a major decision. And honestly, I was terrified of choosing the wrong thing. I kept replaying every possible outcome in my head, overthinking, panicking, trying to control something that I didn't actually have control of at all. I kept telling myself I should pray about it, but what I really meant was, I'll try thinking about it harder. I wanted clarity, but I wasn't willing to sit long enough and actually listen. And then there was this really ordinary moment. I was driving to get pizza with my sister. Music was playing, nothing dramatic, nothing spiritual on the outside, but inside of me, something stalked me. I remember thinking, what if I pause? So I did. I stopped rehearsing answers. I stopped explaining my fear to God. And for once, I didn't rush to fill the silence. And almost immediately, God spoke. Not in an audible way, not in some dramatic way, but with clarity that felt calm, steady, and unmistakable. And what surprised me wasn't what He said. It was how quickly He spoke when I made space for Him. That moment changed something for me. Jesus showed me the difference between striving and listening. I had realized that I had been treating seeking God like a performance, like something I had to do correctly or intensely enough to get results. But seeking God isn't about effort, it's about openness. Prayer isn't just talking, it's about making room. Stillness mattered more than I realized, because God speaks when we're willing to stop trying to control the conversation. That moment taught me that God cares more about relationship than performance. He wasn't waiting for me to try and figure everything out. He was waiting for me to slow down. The shift I felt after that felt so real. Pressure turned into peace. Confusion turned into clarity. Not because every question was answered, but because I stopped trying to carry everything alone. I started letting go of control, learning patience, trusting that God's timing doesn't need my anxiety to function properly. I felt safer with God, not because I was doing it right, but because I was being honest. And honesty changed everything. There are still seasons when God feels quiet. I want to be honest about that because silence doesn't mean failure. There are moments in my life when I wonder if I did something wrong or if I missed something. Waiting is hard. Not knowing is uncomfortable. But I'm learning that silence doesn't mean absence. Sometimes God is teaching patience. Sometimes He's building trust. Sometimes He's inviting us to keep showing up even when answers don't come quickly. And seeking Him in those quiet moments means just as much, maybe more. If you're watching this and you feel distant from God, I want you to hear this. Your mistakes didn't push Him away. Feeling disconnected doesn't mean He left. And not knowing how to hear God doesn't mean you're doing faith wrong. God's voice is still accessible, but quiet matters. Listening matters. The more prayer becomes normal and not just a last result, the easier it is to recognize His voice. Seeking God is not about doing more. It's about learning how to come honestly and stay. And if you're in a season right now of learning how to do that, you're not behind. You are exactly where growth begins. And if you are looking for a place to grow at your own pace with people who are learning the same thing too, we have a community called Impact Training Center. It's a space for real conversations, encouragement, and growing deeper without pressure. Grow with us at Impact Training Center. I put the link in the description if you want to take the next step. Thank you for being here, and wherever you are in your journey, keep seeking.